The New York Jets and New York Giants need to change their name to the New Jersey Jets and the New Jersey Giants. They are not a real football team for the state of New York or the city of New York since they play in East Rutherford at MetLife Stadium. I don't care, but MetLife Stadium is only like 10 miles or 9 miles away from Times Square. It's close enough. No, it's not close enough because they're not in New York. They're in a completely different state. No matter how close it is in proximity to New York City and New York State, they're still not in New York. So you cannot call them the New York Jets or the New York Giants. They're not real New York teams. But what about all the other teams that play outside the cities that they're named after? Nobody throws a fuss over the Santa Clara 49ers or the Arlington Cowboys. So there should be no problem with the Jets and the Giants playing in New Jersey. Except, again, it's completely different because New York is not just a city, it's also a state. You have two teams that say they represent New York, but they do not because they play in a completely different state. I don't care if it's part of the same quote-unquote metropolitan area. I can tell you, as someone who's lived in New York City for 20 years, nobody who lives in New York City wants to go and travel to New Jersey. No one wants to visit New Jersey for any reason, do anything in New Jersey, because there's nothing you can do in New Jersey that you cannot do in New York. And for New York City, for a city that has such a huge culture when it comes to public transportation, being able to take a train or a bus to go anywhere you want to and it being relatively convenient, despite the MTA being a shit show, still a hell of a lot better than Jersey Transit by far. So having to take a train and transfer to Jersey Transit and having to trying to find a bus or whatever. I remember when I went to WrestleMania 35, that was at MetLife Stadium as well. I remember people were standing in the fucking freezing cold until 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, and the show ended at midnight. They were waiting for those Jersey buses to come pick them up, and they never showed up. So I don't want to hear about, oh, it's not a big deal. It's not that inconvenient. It's only a few miles from the city. Not actually being a part of the city and not being part of the city's subway system. You know, what makes all the other New York teams so iconic and so important and so vital to the culture of New York City is that they're just a quick subway ride away. Not always quick, but always quicker than New Jersey. And also, it's convenient. It's a lot more convenient, especially since most of the people that live in the city that I knew and that I still know, they don't own a car. They don't even have a driver's license. So it's not like, oh, you know, they could just get in the car and drive to New Jersey. And, you know, it's like I was able to do that to get to WrestleMania. But a lot of people can't do it. It's a city that really prides itself on its public transportation and being kind of like a driverless city, even though there's plenty of cars there. But like as far as like not having a license but still being able to get around wherever you need to go, all the iconic sports teams in New York, every single other team that represents New York, not only do they actually play in the city, but they are a lot more convenient to get to games at those arenas. Barclays Center, there's a subway line that literally connects right to Barclays Center. It's like every train line connects directly to Barclays. I've been to Barclays multiple times, and it's just so easy to get there, and it's very convenient. Citi Field, Yankee Stadium, and of course Madison Square Garden. That's part of the sports culture in New York City, is the subway aspect of it and the public transport and just being able to use that to get to games pretty quickly, pretty easily. So the convenience factor is definitely another aspect of it. Nobody wants to go to East Rutherford. But it really is just mostly the principle of the fact that, yeah, they say they're from New York, but they play in Jersey. That just pisses me off so much. It really does. And, like, I feel like even if I was from New Jersey, I would also be equally pissed off because it's like, what? We're not good enough? Like, as someone from New Jersey, like, we're not good enough to get the name New Jersey in our team that plays in our state? Like, what? Like, I think I'd be pissed off either way, whether if I was a New Yorker or someone from New Jersey. Completely irrelevant to me the fact that they're very close in proximity and that they're technically part of the same metropolitan area. The whole metropolitan area thing is just something made up by sociologists. It's not an actual cultural thing. There is no cultural connection between New York and New Jersey. And if there is, it's completely one-sided. You have people from New Jersey coming to New York, not the other way around, I can guarantee you that. But if you're going to use the logic that it's only a half hour away to get to MetLife Stadium from Manhattan, then okay, but the Prudential Center, where the New Jersey Devils play, is also about a half hour away in Newark. Why aren't they just called the New York Devils then? Well, they're called the New Jersey Devils. And also the same thing with the Nets when they used to be called the New Jersey Nets before they became the Brooklyn Nets. Just like MetLife Stadium, Izod Center was also in East Rutherford, where the New Jersey Nets played. It was about a half hour away from Manhattan. Again, though, they weren't called the New York Nets, they were the New Jersey Nets. So the logic that these people use defending the naming of the Jets and the Giants, I can use that same logic and turn it completely on their heads, because you had two teams that have represented New Jersey and called themselves New Jersey for decades, and no one was saying, oh, they should be called New York instead, even though they play in New Jersey. Like, no. So then why did the Jets and the Giants deserve a free pass? I loved it. I absolutely loved it when Shaheen Holloway at the 2022 NFL Draft, he actually mentioned them. He referred to them as, he said, the New Jersey Jets select whoever it was as their next draft pick. I fucking lost it when that happened. It was amazing. Probably the best moment ever. So yeah, I'm a Bills fan. I've been a Bills fan even before I moved to the upstate New York area. So I kind of, have that connection to upstate New York now, and I'm kind of rooting for an upstate team. It's a part of the country that doesn't really get a lot of representation culturally. So it's nice to see a team like that playing at a high level, kicking ass, and they have a really good chance of winning the Super Bowl. They actually have for a number of years now, after being one of the worst teams in the NFL consistently for like 25 years. So it's nice that they're coming back. Josh Allen is amazing. I am a Bills fan for life because they are the only New York team in the NFL. The New York Giants should find some other home outside New Jersey, whether they go up to like Westchester County or Dutchess County or like even Mount Vernon or something like that. Maybe even the Bronx, it's a long shot, but maybe they could somehow build a stadium in the Bronx one day. Somewhere in the city proper or outside the city, but still being in the state of New York, because you could talk about all these situations of all these teams that say they're from one city but play in another, but they don't play in a completely different state like the Jets and the Giants do. So yeah, I think it would be great if like the Giants moved and somehow got to New York, and the Jets, they can stay in New Jersey, they can be at MetLife Stadium, and they can call themselves the New Jersey Jets. That actually has a really nice ring to it. New Jersey Jets. It sounds pretty nice, actually. So New Jersey can have the Jets because they suck ass. The Giants are actually a half-decent team that, again, I can never root for because they play in Jersey. But, I think that of the two teams that, like to come to New York, I would want the Giants to come more than the Jets. But as long as the Giants and the Jets play in New Jersey, I will always hope for their failure. I will always root against them no matter what team is playing against them. And that's how it's going to be as long as I live.